Hello, how's it going? Welcome to the morning sit. As it happens, it's afternoon. Sorry about that. Missed it this morning. First time in 130 sessions. Oh my God, shocking. Anyhow, it's Thursday, the 31st. We're going to sit for 20 minutes and you can sit for 5, 10, 15, 20. Whatever is good for you. So let's get into it. Okay. So today I'm going to go talk a little bit sciencey stuff. So I think it was Einstein, one of those fellas anyway, those scientists back along the way, they made a statement that probably one of the biggest inhibitors to our understanding ourselves, the greatest limitations to understanding ourselves, is our five senses. Now, why did he say that? Well, if you think about your senses, say first of all, your eyes, they can see the spectrum that's the rainbow colors, but they can't see infrared, ultraviolet, and a whole other range of colors that are just outside of our eyes' capacity to perceive. And then we have our ears, and they operate on sound waves and certain frequencies of sound wave. But again, they're limited. A dog, for example, can hear whistles and sounds way beyond the range, higher pitches than we can pick up. And then we have our smell. Again, cats and dogs have a much more powerful, I think millions of times more smell sensors and much more numbers of taste sensors in their body than we have. And then we have touch, which, is just a perception of what's taking place, because in reality, from a science point of view, we can't touch anything. There is a tiny layer of molecules in between that are causing a resistance. When we touch something, we feel it's soft. It's more about a perception. We don't actually feel something soft. It's just a comparison in our brain between other items where there is more resistance, like our nail has more of a resistance on one side than our skin, but we don't touch it, because if we did actually physically touch, the cells would end up bonding into one another and your fingers would mix up into a mush. So that's the five senses. And so nowadays, with modern science, we now know that we used to think that the atom was the final part of a cellular breakdown, that all cells were made up of atoms, and that an atom had a nucleus and an electron, neutron, stuff flying around and all that kind of thing. And then, but now we've found that below that, after some experiments done in CERN in France or Switzerland, where there's the proton accelerators to speed of light, and when they clash and collide, and they break up into other smaller pieces that are discernible and knowable, called quarks, and even those are broken into different types of quarks. So what they do know at that level is that they're not fixed as particle, they're in wave format, but also in particle. And so it's a fluid thing, almost like a liquid. It's not, so there's no hard form. There's nothing physically hard forming at the basis of our own being. If we could see that, and if we could put our own body under a giant light electron microscope kind of thing, we would see that there's nothing there other than quarks coming in and out of existence in a wave pattern like this. Nothing solid, just a wave of activity that's happening, nothing physical. And I think if you look at, there's tiny particles that are emitted from the sun I think they're called neutrinos, and they fly out from the sun, and they pass through all substance. They pass through you and me and through the earth like we weren't there. They just go straight through. So again, then it points to, this isn't solid, not real from the perception of how our eyes perceive us. We are some unique phenomenon that comes in and out of a source environment that we don't understand. And what does all that mean for us on a daily basis? It means that we are way beyond anything that you can perceive by your mind. Your mind is limited by the five senses. Senses tell you that's what you're feeling, that's what you're seeing, that's what you're hearing, and that's it. but there's a whole other dimension, multiple dimensions to our being. And that should give us comfort. That should give us some excitement, because irrespective of what our five senses are perceiving about ourselves and the world around us, it's only a tiny fraction of the truth of what's there. A tiny fraction. So today, enjoy your day, recognizing that if you could truly know and see your true immense self, it'll probably blow your mind. May you have a beautiful day.